On a scale of 1 to 10, just how strong do you think your willpower is? Hey guys, it's Sumin here and welcome back to Your Money Game. Now, if I had to judge myself, I'd say that my score between 1 to 10 is maybe like a 7. So I think I'm reasonably okay when it comes to resisting the impulse to shop and to spend too much. But I think without any other strategies, more often than not, what we hear as advice is just try not to spend so much. So if you've ever had that said to you and that's the only strategy that you try and use when it comes to saving more money, you might not be exploring enough options. An interesting piece of research that was done a few years ago kind of showed that 80% of Singaporeans owned up to the fact that they do a lot of impulse shopping online. And again, with the so-called sale season pretty much like non-stop the entire year, it's kind of easy to make these type of decisions off the bat. Now, resisting the urge to shop and spending impulsively is already difficult and troublesome if you've got money. Now, it's actually even worse if you happen to kind of grow up in an environment where you didn't really have enough. One of the interesting pieces of research that I found showed that if you grew up in such an environment, chances are a little bit higher that you might give in to short-term impulses. And the rationale was that if you didn't really have enough to kind of like go around, you'll end up making decisions where if there's something in front of you right now, you're going to want to take it rather than delay that gratification for later. So instead of just relying on brute force and our inner ability to resist all these temptations, I'm going to walk you through 5 different strategies that you can use to hopefully help you with the goal of saving more money. Now, the first big strategy is called automation. Now, you might have heard the word used before, but what I want to walk you through is the different smaller tactics within automation that you can use. The first is that if you have a salary coming into a regular bank account, what you can do is set a recurring transfer that when your salary comes in, you immediately pull a portion of the salary out, which you can place in maybe a separate bank account that you don't use as often. That way, you don't really see a big balance that you can use to spend. The second tactic is that a lot of the banks these days have applications where you can set savings goals. So for example, if you want to save up towards a house, you set that target, set the amount, and how much you would like to set aside each month. The system will automatically do is pull out those funds. So again, you don't really see that in your final balance. One other tactic that's very useful, especially if you're interested in investing, is that with robo-advisors and even some of the bank products, you can automatically take money out and put it into an investment product straight away. The second strategy I want to talk about is called challenges. Now, if you find, again, the subject of saving very difficult, but yet at the same time you want to mind hack yourself to let it become easier, by setting a challenge that helps you spend less money, that's something you can kind of get behind because you're almost tricking yourself to believe that, hey, I'm doing something fun and enjoyable, and therefore in an indirect way I end up saving money. So for example, if you happen to eat out a lot and you want to tell yourself to cut down on that kind of spending, what you can do is you set yourself a challenge to maybe meal prep for a week. So the benefit of doing this is that you not only save a bit of money when it comes to the meal itself, but you end up learning a new skill that, who knows, in the long run actually saves you even more money. Another way of setting a challenge, at least for myself, is that at one point I was asking if I could eat less meat. While the motivation wasn't money mainly, what I realized was that I was actually spending quite a lot on a weekly basis on meat. And doing the challenge of eating less meat actually made me realize that, oh my gosh, I was saving like that much money in groceries. So the important thing when it comes to using challenges as a strategy is that you really have to enjoy it. If you're curious about it, you want to see what happens, and you're motivated by the goal, the challenge will take care of the rest. And as a kind of a side result, you don't end up spending so much money. So the next strategy is a favorite of mine, and I call it the phantom budget. So what it is first of all, budgets are only as good as your ability to see it and then therefore comply with it. For me, I use Money Manager. So what I do is that instead of putting my entire salary into the budget, I set a fake ceiling. So by putting that fake number in, what happens is that my behavior automatically adjusts to spend within that limit. So why this is useful is that, first of all, it kind of gives me a bit of a buffer. We all blow our budgets every now and then, me too. And if I blow it, it's okay because I know it's a fake limit and I technically have a little bit higher. But at the same time, having that number over there really helps me kind of set that target of how much I should be spending on a regular basis. And because I use the app on a daily basis when I record my spending, it becomes a very easy way for me to see that, oh, okay, this is my limit and I'm so close to it. The fourth strategy is app hacks. Now, odds are you probably have a few shopping apps that are sitting in your phone, and what happens is that if you have set the alerts, it will be a constant stream of reminders that there's a sale going on, there's a special here and there's a deal that's happening. And the more you allow these notifications to kind of tempt you into doing something, again, you're using willpower to try and fight it. So an easy way is, in terms of the first hack, turn off those notifications. When it's no longer being served at you, you're not going to get tempted. The next, with all these shopping apps, again, most of us, for convenience sake, will want to kind of put in a credit card or a debit card so that when you make those transactions, it's really fast and it's really easy. So imagine if you didn't link your card or you didn't link a payment service, you would have to manually key in the number every time you want to make a purchase. Now, by doing this, maybe you snap yourself out of it and then you don't go ahead with that impulse buy. The last app hack is that, again, for convenience sake, a lot of us tend to put these apps right up front. Maybe it's within a home screen, maybe it's within one swipe away, but by burying those apps somewhere deeper, whether it's within a different folder or whether you don't even put it in a folder, you just leave it in one of the kind of like app buckets that is doesn't show up on the screen. That's another way for you to kind of resist the temptation and automatically put it in the background. The final strategy I want to talk about is alignment. Now, this is another favorite of mine, but admittedly, it's a little harder to pull off. So what alignment means is to try your best to live your life using services or making decisions that make sure things are kind of stacked up and don't end up costing you too much money, or helps you save more money just by living your life the way you would have anyway. One thing that I've done personally is to choose a place to rent that is closer to my workplace. If you ask me how much I save on a monthly basis, it's within the range of $50 when it comes to commuting costs. On top of that, it actually saves me a ton of time. And with that time, you can argue I spent it on better things, and therefore I'm hopefully saving more money in a certain other way. Another side benefit, or maybe even a double-edged sword, is that if you live really close to your workplace and you get an invitation to go out that's a little bit further, you'll probably get a bit lazy, and then you might just decline more invitations and therefore not go out as much. The other tactic to use under alignment is to buy products or services that kind of help you save money in things that you would have already been doing anyway. So my personal favorite is using AIA Vitality. So it's a very interesting program where it's a paid service. It's a monthly fee of I think $10 or so dollars. But what it does is that it gives me access to a whole bunch of different perks. The first is savings on a gym membership. So I automatically save probably $50 on a monthly basis just on the gym membership alone. On top of that, if you kind of do certain challenges right, you get to earn like between $5 to $10 on a weekly basis. So for me in 2019, I probably made or saved close to 1,002, maybe even more. So by aligning my life to that particular service, I actually saved a whole lot of money. So to sum things up, automating is a very easy thing to do and get off the ground. The next strategy is that if you set challenges that are really interesting for yourself and you have fun doing it, you can, again, as a side benefit, save money. That's great. Thirdly, you can set a phantom budget. That way you don't kind of like automatically get tempted to spend that little bit of excess that you have. Fourth, if you've got all those shopping apps, hack it. Make sure they don't tempt you the way you don't want them to. And finally, alignment. And if you can align yourself with different services or products that really help you save money based off the life that you already lead, that's fantastic. Of course, those aren't the only strategies out there. If you guys have any other interesting ones that you'd like to share, please feel free to comment down below in the comments. So with that said, thanks for watching, guys. So if you've gotten any value out of this, please give me a thumbs up, share this with your friends who might be able to use some of these strategies, and subscribe for more videos in the future. And until next time, remember to play your own game.